Hi, everyone, and welcome back. How many of you feel nervous about learning English? Or maybe you think it's impossible to memorize all those words and grammar rules. Well, if that sounds like you, you're not alone. But here's the good news: learning English doesn't have to be as difficult as you might think. In fact, it can actually be a piece of cake. Today, we're diving into why English isn't as tough as it seems and how anyone, even those who feel like it's impossible, can make it easier. So get comfortable and let's explore together how to make learning English fun, effective, and yes, effortless. Let's start with something I hear all the time: learning English is too hard. Many people worry that they'll never be able to remember new words, understand grammar, or speak fluently. They think it's impossible, but let me tell you a little secret. Learning English doesn't have to be perfect for you to succeed. If you're waiting until every word and rule is perfect before you start speaking, you might be holding yourself back. In fact, the fastest way to learn is to let go of the idea of perfection and just focus on getting started. So here's a thought: don't worry about your pronunciation or even your grammar. Just start speaking. Don't worry if your English isn't as fluent as you'd like. The key is to try. Speak English as much as possible, even if it's just simple sentences or basic words. You see, many people think that learning English requires years of study before they can actually speak it, but that's simply not true. You don't need to memorize a dictionary or master every rule in the grammar book to get started. Just like learning to ride a bike, the first steps are what matter most. You might wobble a bit, maybe even stumble a little, but with each try, you'll get more and more confident. When it comes to successful English learners, there's one thing they all have in common: they practice regularly. Think of an athlete training for a big competition. They train consistently, push themselves a bit more each day, and focus on improving over time. For English, the same approach works wonders. Try setting a goal to speak, listen, or read English for just 10 or 15 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be hours and hours, just something small and consistent. If you dedicate even a little time each day, I promise you'll see progress. Now let's talk about grammar, something that makes so many learners feel intimidated. Sure, English grammar has its tricky parts, but it doesn't need to be perfect for you to communicate. Start with the basics and allow yourself to make mistakes. Think about this: have you ever spoken to a non native speaker in your own language? Did you care if their grammar was perfect? Probably not. What mattered was that they were able to share their ideas and you understood them. It's the same with English. Grammar is helpful, but it doesn't have to be a barrier. The more you speak, the more natural it will feel, and the easier grammar rules will become. And then there's pronunciation. A lot of learners are afraid of mispronouncing words. Here's something to remember: everyone struggles with pronunciation when they're learning a new language. You're not alone. Think of how children learn. They mispronounce words, they mix up sounds, but they learn naturally over time. For you, the key is to just keep speaking. Try recording yourself, watch English shows, or listen to native speakers. You'll gradually pick up the correct pronunciation, and soon you'll notice improvement. Don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. Just keep at it. Now let's talk about setting goals. Setting realistic, achievable goals is a game changer when learning a language. Instead of trying to learn 100 words in a day, start with just 5. Instead of aiming to speak like a native in 1 month, try having a simple conversation with a friend once a week. Setting small, achievable goals will help you feel a sense of accomplishment and motivate you to keep going. Each small success adds up, and before you know it, you'll look back and be amazed at how much you've learned. Another big tip: surround yourself with English. If you can make English part of your daily routine, you'll see faster progress. Watch a movie with English subtitles, listen to music or podcasts in English, read an article each morning, whatever works for you. When you make English a part of your everyday life, it stops feeling like learning and starts feeling like just another part of your day. It's an easy and natural way to build your skills without even realizing it. Finally, remember that making mistakes is part of learning. Every time you try and make a mistake, you're one step closer to improvement. Don't let fear hold you back. Speak English every day, even if it's just a few sentences. Over time, you'll become more confident and your skills will improve more than you ever thought possible. Learning English really can be a piece of cake if you keep practicing, stay positive, and take it step by step. So let's make a promise together. No more worrying about mistakes, no more fear of sounding silly. Just speak, learn, and enjoy the journey. Learning English is a beautiful and rewarding process, and if you treat it as a fun adventure, you'll reach your goals faster than you think. Thanks for listening, and remember, English really can be a piece of cake.